What is happening, everyone, and welcome to TROP-CAST episode 36. You are very welcome to another episode of this fantastic show. We got here in the end. We're meant to go live at 9 o'clock. I am your host, Ronan Fox. Today we're going to be talking about the backlash that's happening in the gaming industry in terms of fans making their voices heard. So before we get into those topics, let me introduce the team. We've got John. What's happening, John?
Nothing much. Hello, here I am.
Here you are for a second week running.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Jack, what's happening, my friend?
All right, Ronan, how are we?
The Platinum.
Indeed. Got two of them this week, so that'll be interesting.
And Pat, how are you keeping?
I'm feeling less hairy, but good overall.
You lost the beard. What's happening? Were you made do that?
I am performing sort of, because I'm in Pride and Prejudice, and since the periodic play, people didn't have beards back then. Well, they were more clean shaven. So
okay, so it's down to a drama. That's okay. I'll take that. You're doing it for an acting gig. I can take that. I thought it was like just someone was like, you need to get rid of that beard. I don't know, a woman didn't like it or something like that. You were made to get rid of it that way.
I feel so strange, so I do.
It looks a little bit strange,
nice.
Definitely. I shaved once. Never again.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but I didn't grow a beard until I was 28, so I'm 31 now. So what's happening, guys? First, we're going to get into what we're playing. So, Pat, with no beard, what have you been playing?
Well, finally finished off the main story of Bloodborne, so really happy with that. Fantastic game, easily my game of the generation now, hands down. Thus everything seems to just come together perfectly, like the gameplay, the mystery of the story, and how it references like H.P. Lovecraft's cosmic horror elements. It's just it's so intriguing and like just so wonderfully crafted together that it makes you want to go and check what other people thought and see if it lines up with your thoughts.
But exactly the same as I'm a huge Lovecraft fan. I love all the kind of stuff that he does, but I also love stuff that's influenced by him. One of my favorite movies of all time is Alien, and there's a lot of Lovecraftian elements in Alien. The not seeing stuff, it's not really in your face, it's kind of hidden in the background and you're waiting for something. It's always that suspense, and I think with Bloodborne, the way the story plays out, there is that fact of the unknown, and I think that's what Lovecraft was brilliant at doing. He built tension without actually showing stuff to you right in your face. It's my favorite, one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite. I'm a huge From Software fan. But tell me, what were the elements that really stuck with you? Was it the gameplay? Was it the story? Was it everything?
Like the story it's vague to it's very vague in all honesty, but it's up to your interpretation, and I love sort of stories like that where it's not just simply you've been told the story, this is what it is. You have so many ways you can go with it. But one thing that I really did appreciate was the gameplay factor of it. Like, you're thrown straight into the deep end from the very beginning. It's pure gameplay. Like, this game thrives off its gameplay. And like, while people said like our game's too hard, I'll admit the game is hard, but once you get a hang of the controls, it's not as hard. It's challenging. It's gets you frustrated every now and again, but it's handled so well. And I think the big thing that probably turns people off is just the beginning of the game and getting used to controls. Totally. Because as you're getting used, you're dying so much. Like, you're dying a lot. So one of the things I actually appreciated coming back to the game now, since I didn't finish the first time I had it, was I already had an understanding for the mechanics, so it wasn't too big to jump back in, and it's just brilliant. From like the atmosphere that is created. Like, I got the surround sound system set up there, and I played it. I was terrified when I was going through areas that I cleaned of enemies, because the atmosphere is just incredible. It feels like something's gonna creep up on you, even though you know nothing's gonna do it. The music is.
Yeah, I was literally about to. Sorry for cutting over you, but I was literally about to say that theme music at the start. That is just like one of my favorite pieces of music in a video game ever. And I remember seeing that teaser trailer it was, where you see the dogs coming down that alleyway and you hear that piece of music, and it's just perfection for what that game is, and try to invoke that atmosphere. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad you stuck it. But you hit the point there where the start, it doesn't really bring you in easy. It kicks your ass right at the start. I think you get bit by a werewolf, you die, you come back, you pick your weapon, and then it throws you in again, a little bit more powerful obviously with the weapon. But when you hit the streets of Yharnam, that's when things get very ropey. And I find that a lot of people, if they pass Yharnam, if they pass the streets, they'll actually go on and finish the whole game. If they don't pass that area, they'll just call it frustrating. And it's very, very difficult, that part, because you do get mobbed. And that's something that Dark Souls didn't really do. It never really threw 10 enemies at you at the same time, where Bloodborne doesn't really care. But it gives you the tools to go against that amount of enemies.
Like, even the mechanics to it, like, there's one, the visceral attacks, when you shoot someone, you can stagger them and go in for it.
Yeah.
I sort of forgot about that from the very beginning, and I only really started using it when I got to, like, the very nearly final boss, and I was like, this is very handy. This would have been very useful in other fights that I've been in. But
you can do it on some bosses as well, can't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
can do it. Rex Folder gets going.
But yeah, it's amazing. And apart from that, I've also started Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which is, oh man, it's good. Like,
first time or
first time, yeah.
No way.
And I am enjoying the hell out of it. I've only put about an hour or two into it, but my god, amazing
Bloodborne
game.
takes a lot of influences from that game, a lot. The atmosphere. I love the movement of Symphony of the Night. I always say it, that every time you turn that game on, I feel like that game in 100 years time will still be as amazing as it is now. It doesn't seem to age, and I think that's down to the way the character flows through the map and the elements of mystery in it, the different areas that you have to try and go through. And like, that might be one of the most perfect games ever created. It's the game that people keep coming back to, and it's the game that has influenced so many games ahead of it. John, you've played Bloodborne. I think Jack may have even platinumed it. Have you? If you want to jump in.
Yeah. Well, no, Bloodborne is.
Let's give a Bloodborne
favorite.
corner.
yeah. I'm happy for it. I love Bloodborne.
So do
Bloodborne is literally one of my favorite games of all. Most certainly my favorite Souls game, if you call it a Souls game. It's in the same.
You can, Souls-esque, yeah.
But I love everything about it. It's my favorite PS4 exclusive. It's like it's the main reason why I bought a PS4.
Same as.
But yeah, everything Pat said is completely true, and it's why I love it. By the way, if you want to kind of delve into what the lore from its perspective of someone who is so good at it, you should watch videos from Vatcha Vidya.
Yes.
He does fantastic videos about the lore.
Even if you don't like Bloodborne, just to hear his voice, it's infectious.
It's so soothing.
It's
Hello,
so infectious.
I can't do it, but yeah, no, I absolutely adore that game. It's my favorite Souls game, and that's saying a lot, because the only one I haven't played is Demon Souls, because I got into it at Dark Souls 1.
Yeah,
I think I got it when it was like the Prepare to Die edition. That included the DLC. That's when I got into it, so it already was known. And some people were like, I want to hear about this game, Dark Souls. I was like, sure, I'll give it a go. Kicked my arse. I eventually bet it. I loved it. And the rest is history. But Bloodborne, just because, as you were saying, how visceral it is, how, like, it takes you out of your element if you're a Dark Souls player, because you're so used, and not every Dark Souls player, but I was definitely a sword and shield sort of a guy.
Yeah.
And just when they take the shield away from you, it takes a while to adjust. But then when you realize just how fast-paced, the whole mechanic where if you take damage, if you attack them quick enough, you get the health back. So it's just
genius.
you just have to be always on the attack. It's brilliant. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and Pat pretty much said a lot about it. A lot of the reasons why I love it: the atmosphere, how scary it is.
Yeah.
It's a horror game for all intents and purposes, really. Like, it really is, because when werewolves and stuff jump out at you, like, you get heart attacks. You really do. And I do anyway, but I'm.
Yeah. Jack, how was the platinum for Bloodborne?
It started off grand and then just quickly descended to madness.
I can imagine.
Simply because of one dungeon, because with one of the trophies, you need to go find the secret boss, which is down 6 or 7 dungeons you have to clear. The root chalice dungeons, or the chalice dungeons, as most people call them, or as they're actually called, sorry. But there's one, the defiled dungeon. Pat is on it, he was telling me beforehand, and it's basically, in this dungeon, you've got half your health back. You have no more, no less, you're exactly half.
Very From Software, isn't it?
And basically, most things in this dungeon can pretty much wipe you out in one hit. Regardless of how good you are at the game, if you get hit once, you're basically screwed.
And we love it.
And we all love it, yes.
Guys, I do want to dwell longer. We can do a full episode, I think, of Bloodborne, maybe the 4 of us. I know Paddy, I'd love for Paddy to get into it as well, but he kind of got into it and it didn't really catch him. But maybe there's still time. I know there's still time for people to get into that game, because it does kick your ass. But we could maybe do a special on that, because we could talk about that thing all night long, and I would love that.
I know.
Jack,
I could.
Jack, what have you been playing? I can take a guess, but let's hear it.
I've been playing Knowledge is Power and Knowledge is Power Decades. Knowledge is Power is actually one of the platinums I got there a couple of days ago.
Okay.
And the other thing I've been playing is Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fueled. I've been playing nothing but that for the past 2 weeks, other than Knowledge is Power, obviously. And that is the other platinum that I actually got, that I say before. I actually achieved that about 25 minutes before we were meant to start.
Wow, dude. That's unbelievable. Let's give him a clap for that one. Well done, Jack.
The funny thing is, though, I could have had it a few days ago, but I had to go for the whole, let's just finish off everything in this save first, and then we'll go for the hard.
So are you one of the first to get that? Is your kind of rarity on that thing ridiculous?
It's 0.2%.
Yeah, I thought that already. That's pretty nice.
And if PSN profiles is anything to go by, there's 500 people with it.
Wow. That's awesome, dude. Fair play to you. The platinum is back.
It was not easy. That was a no.
So are you like the guys in South Park? It's like, well, what do you do now? Well, now we can play the game.
Oh no, I was playing the game anyway. I've been playing online and all, but it's just a case of maybe 3 or 4 tracks, just trying to beat the harder time trials for them.
Yeah,
just drove me to insanity.
Whenever you talk about platinum, it doesn't sound like they're any fun at all. It doesn't make me want to go, yes, I want to start being a platinum collector.
Yeah, and then you hear that and you're like, no. But what I would say is, anybody who's actually played the game, tracks stuff like Dragon Mines, Sewer Speedway, and then one of the Crash Nitro Kart ones were actually the ones that gave me the most trouble. Everything else, I either beat it before actually unlocking the ghost, which is a problem I have with that game, because Because with the time trials, there's 2 different ghosts you have to unlock. One is Entropy, which is a boss out of Warp, which is out of Crash 3, the time one.
Yeah.
And then there's one Oxide, whose first game was this game.
Okay.
You have to get it under a certain time to unlock Tropy's ghost. Then you have to beat Tropy's ghost to get Oxide's ghost. Then you have to beat Oxide's ghost to actually have it cleared. You can't just beat it and beat Oxide's ghost straight out. You actually have to do it 3 times.
And tell me, do you have like a traditional celebration when you get your platinum? Or do you just put the controller down? It's like, I'm done. It's over!
No, typically I'd play on a bit more, but today I couldn't.
Just play on like to bring myself down.
But no, as I say, Crash Team Racing with the new Grand Prix and everything, I'm not going to be stopping playing that.
That's class. That's great that you're getting so much game time out of that.
It's ridiculous.
John, what have you been playing?
Well, I think you know my first answer.
Yes, I do. It's called Tarkov.
Yes, I'm playing a lot of Tarkov.
Still rocking that thing, yeah?
Oh, I'm going to be rocking it for a while. I got
Nice.
the freaking the Deer edition that gave me more stash and stuff because I have to. It's in my veins at this stage.
So
I absolutely adore that game.
Sorry, do you just upgrade like a couple of quid more to get the higher, or do you have to re-buy it, or how does that work?
Just a couple of quid. Yeah.
What did you spend, dude?
I'd rather not disclose that information. But it's more than a couple of. It was more than a couple of quid.
Okay.
But yeah, you just get more stuff, and it's the all-in edition. You are now all in on this game, and I couldn't be happier. I love it.
Yeah,
I
always say, John, if you're getting the game time out of it, like if you're putting hours upon hours into this, it doesn't owe you anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know these free to play games and everything else out there, but if you really enjoy something, first of all, I want to say that by giving that money, you're supporting the developer, especially in an early stage like this. Like, that money is going towards developing the game, so you have a part of the development cycle in that game. And I wouldn't feel bad about giving developers money like that, especially in a game that's getting so like highly rated amongst people. I see people talking about it. It's not massively popular, but the people that like it really adore it, and I can't wait to get stuck in. Like I said, I was meant to get it last Friday. A couple of things came up, but I'm hoping to get it this weekend, and get stuck in with yourself and Paddy and Kim as well is playing a little bit.
A bit of Crammy as well, but
Crammy as well. Shout out to him.
But we're also we're the thing about it like this: the game is in beta, so it's not even the finished game, right? And these are good things I'm saying. I've had so many hours into the game already, right? I've only over and over again played the one. My brain is nearly thinking this game is only this map, but it's not. There's loads of maps. It's just I'm trying to perfect just this one map. So I've seen about 15% of the game. Especially if you put into, I haven't really started weapon modifications yet. I haven't really started a load of different things that you can do in the game. I'm literally, because I'm also learning keyboard and mouse at the same time, as I said last week. So I am still just, my learning curve now is getting into a map and killing people and getting out. I'm still like that, and I'm only doing that on a map called Customs. I'm doing that over and over again. And just like at least 6 other maps, and there's more maps coming because it's in beta that I haven't even touched. I haven't even, like, I've seen them. I've seen people play them, but I haven't personally gone onto them.
And just give me a kind of a quick, because I don't want to spend too much more on what we're playing section, but because we have a bit of news to get through. But tell me, like a game loop. You drop in, and then is it kind of sneak around very slowly, slow pace, that type of game?
It's whatever you want. It's actually completely, it depends on the level you are at a game like that. For a player like me, sneaking around and trying to kill only 1 or 2 people and getting out with as much loot as you can is probably a good idea. But the best players in that game, like, because I watch people play it, they'll hear gunshots, and it's like, oh, there's a big battle over there. I'll avoid that area and try and sneak around. They'll go gunshots and they'll run directly for it, because if they can kill everybody that's a part of that battle, they'll get all of their loot. The loot is now theirs.
So tell me this is the way my mind works, because I would be big into tactical shooters like that, but could you fire a few, I don't know, bogey shots and get them to come in and maybe have a few landmines set, or is there mines?
There aren't landmines. There are grenades, but there aren't landmines. But there's a lot of that. Like I'd watch like top players play it, and they'll be like, they'll hear shots out of nowhere, and they'll go, "That's bait. That's bait." Someone's like, they'll know someone's baiting me. Someone's baiting me.
Okay, so it is.
They're actually up on a hill with a sniper rifle. They want me to come and look for them. So stuff like that.
Nice.
But not a great game. And just very quickly, because I haven't actually played much of it, so I don't have much to say other than I love it so far. I actually bought Mario Maker 2, Super Mario Maker 2.
Awesome. We talked about that last week.
Very much enjoying it. I played a great level. It was a Castlevania themed level. It's the best level I've played so far. If you can find it, I recommend it. But I'm just playing levels, haven't created anything. Love it so far. I love running Mario levels, and that's pretty much it.
Deadly. So I'm going to actually go on to the first piece of news, because my game is connected with the first piece of news that we have, guys, and that is the Witcher TV show. Netflix dropped a new poster for The Witcher showing Henry Cavill as Geralt, and he looks absolutely unbelievable, I have to say. I was a little bit hesitant when he was first cast. I am all in for this now. I want it to be good, and I would love to see Netflix approach more games like this. I have heard that Resident Evil is getting a TV show as well, so maybe this might be the place where video games get transferred into live action, and it could be, a really good place for them. All I want is something really, for the fans, and I think they will do it, because they're going back. It's a young Geralt of Rivia, and I think Henry is after doing a great job with the look. And I have jumped into The Witcher 3 on PC, and lads, I played this game before, and my biggest issue with The Witcher 3 when I first played it, I played it on PS4, but it came out at a time where sorry, it came out at a time where we were so deep with open world games. I mean, just open world game after open world game. I think it was the first year of the PlayStation. I remember getting Horizon Zero Dawn, The Witcher. I think there was like a Shadow of Mordor game came out as well, and I was kind of flicking through all of them, and I really got burnt out on open world games. And The Witcher came, and I loved it, but I still felt burnt out on those massive style games. So I actually got to the final boss in that game and never completed it because I was under leveled and didn't go back to it. I seen that there was going to be something announced on from Netflix about the Witcher series, and it had me thinking again, and I said, you know what, I'm going to jump back in. It was $8.99 on Steam on the summer sale. I have put about 8 hours into it, and lads, it might be one of the best games of all time. It's just, I think it's because the amount of systems that work together in that game and the way you think when you're playing the game and the voice acting. I mean, there's a couple of voice actors from Game of Thrones. There's Tywin Lannister. There's also Robert Baratheon. Apologies, now I can't think of their names. Charles Dance, isn't it? Is Tywin Lannister. So there's just high-end actors, and if we can get a series that can even bring half of the atmosphere of the games, I think we are going to be getting something special for this. So, just as the report says here, we got our first look at the new Witcher TV show this week, starring Henry Cavill. I'm saying that right, am I like Cavill, yeah? As Geralt. Most filming for the series has now been wrapped up, a process that was full of teasers, leaks, and internet opinions. We've seen Cavill in costume as Geralt. Overall, what do you guys think? So, John, I'm going to throw it to you first. What do you make of this whole Witcher series coming to Netflix and Henry playing the part as Geralt of Rivia?
I am genuinely looking forward to it. Like, again, we won't know until it's out, but I think looking at the picture, he does do, as you said, he does do a good job as Geralt. People were upset. I can't think of the actor's name.
Mads.
You know that, yeah, people were upset that wasn't Mads for a while. Mads Mikkelsen, yeah. And because he does, but he'd be good for like an older Witcher, obviously.
Yes,
since they're going back as a younger Witcher, I don't think he does the job wrong at all, especially seeing the pictures that we saw today.
The hair's a little bit longer. There's no scars. I think it's perfect.
But like, it's pretty much what you said. Like, it's just, I hope that they do it justice, because at the end of the day, the fruit of the show will be the writing and the acting, and we won't really know until we see it in motion. Will it be any good? Maybe the first trailer, because trailers can be deceptive, but maybe the first trailer will give us a taste of what to expect. But you know, trailers can be deceptive as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope, again, I'm not the biggest Witcher guy. I played a bit of The Witcher 3, never did The Witcher 1 and 2, which actually kind of excites me more, because if they're doing this, I don't know what they're doing, you might know more than me. If they're doing the story from The Witcher 1 onwards, that might be kind of...
no, they're actually not. So it's going to be based more on the books, which is a kind of a prequel to all those games. So a very young Geralt. Stuff that I would know very little of. I want to read the books because they're meant to be brilliant. Anyone that have jumped onto the stream and me playing The Witcher says, go and read the books. So I might pick those up in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to jump on Amazon and see what they are. But yeah, it's even before then. So you watch the series and then you can jump on, and you've got your PC. You can pick up The Witcher 1 and 2 really cheap now at the moment. And I have played The Witcher 2, and it is brilliant in terms of, yes, Witcher 3 is a lot more streamlined and it plays a lot more smoother. The Witcher 2 just does some really, really cool and interesting things that couldn't really progress onto the third one because they would have been a little bit controversial, but definitely worth going back and playing that game. It still looks great to this day. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Jack, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll admit I was one of the naysayers in the beginning when Cavill was originally announced as Geralt, but looking at the poster and the new images revealing Geralt's Ciri, Yennefer, I'm still not sold on. I'll have to wait and see because Yennefer is a big part of the character, but they didn't show Triss either, which was a surprise because I heard they actually had someone cast as Triss, but she wasn't anywhere to be seen in the posters, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So that's another thing that I'm looking forward to seeing. But as a whole, it looks 100 times better than I originally anticipated.
Yeah, I was the same, Jack, to be honest. Yeah, I was kind of like that as well. I was a little bit underwhelmed, but what I find funny now is guys in work that don't play video games or don't know what The Witcher is, they seen that poster and they're like, wow, that looks cool, like I'll definitely check that out. And I think to bring people in that don't even know anything about that series, they're definitely doing something right. Like we can gloat over it because we know the character, but for someone that doesn't and they want to see it, I think that's something really cool. Pat, what do you reckon?
I think this is the right way to go if you're going to be doing video game adaptations in general, because the problem that I have with movies is that they're very limited in their so they have to like squeeze a lot of the stuff in from the games, and it sometimes feels like a rushed product.
Yeah.
So I think that allowing these series to breed will allow them to be better received. And also, I think the guys that are doing the Witcher series that are actually making it, produce not Netflix producing it, but the guys that are actually like making the whole series, they're doing a Final Fantasy series as well. I can't remember which number exactly, but
Scoop.
it's
I actually think I seen
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah, you shared that, didn't you? I seen something
Yeah.
about that as well. So hopefully those guys know what they're doing. So yeah,
Nice.
we're all kind of interested and hoping the best for that series. I think I just want to see something good being a video game turning into a film adaptation or a TV adaptation that's really phenomenal, like masterclass stuff. And this has every potential to be that. So the next bit of news, guys, is Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney has said this week Epic is funding the cost of all Kickstarter refunds resulting from Shenmue 3's move to the Epic Games Store, so that refunds won't reduce WiseNet development funding. This was a solution to angry fans of the game being only available exclusive from Epic on the PC. And as I said at the start, the show is called Backlash, and this is kind of what we're getting at, that the fans are pushing back a little bit and the developers are listening. So Pat, what do you make of this backlash from fans to the Epic Store?
See, I can see like it from a perspective, people who are on Steam, it has so many more features that Epic Store doesn't have, and they were like through all the promotional for Shenmue 3, which is the game that this is based on. It was going to be coming to Steam. That was the whole idea in like, every promotional bit that they had, and then it just came out of nowhere. And that it was going to be Epic Store exclusive and not being coming to Steam at all for like a year. And I think it is rather unfair that this has happened to them, because they were promised this on that service.
Okay.
But one of the things that I actually am not too happy about is that it took Backlash to get like all the money going back to people who don't want it or get new ways of getting the game. It's sad, so it is, because it looks like Epic was originally just going to be like, we'll probably get them all on if we just keep it on Epic Store.
Yeah.
And when the backlash came out against it, like went, oh, well, maybe this isn't a good idea. Let's try and paint ourselves as the good guy and do the right thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And, like, they've been doing this a lot now with getting the exclusivities, and it's just a bit unfair, really, on people who are doing this.
Yeah, the deals seem to be done very late in the cycle. I mean, the developers should turn around and say, right, which platform are we going to sell this on, and stick to the bloody platform. Like, it's a bit ridiculous. John, you have a couple of words to say.
Yeah, it's a weird situation because if you were following the production of Shenmue 3, first it was a Kickstarter backed by Sony, so they obviously were throwing in a little bit to it as well. It got funded, one of those really, really successful Kickstarters that got like so much over its budget, was insane. People were happy enough, games getting made. Then Deep Silver jumped in and they started like, we're going to pick this game up. So people were a little bit like, if we knew you were going to get a publisher, maybe the Kickstarter wasn't. But again, I can see where they're coming from, because that probably came afterwards.
Yeah, when they got the funding, yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to say no, like, so. But like that one, I understand. But they did get a little bit of backlash for that as well. But the Epic thing, you see, what's funny about the Epic thing is there's a few things. The first thing is when it came to the developers, I know, I apologize, I can't think of the names of the developers that started the Kickstarter for Shenmue 3, but when it came to them, with their first tweet on the whole situation after the backlash, the Epic thing happened and people wanted refunds, was basically, we're sorry for the inconvenience, but you won't be getting refunds. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what it was. But the backlash was so big. Epic decided it's Epic that are doing the refund. Epic are going to basically take the hit for the refund for anyone who feels like they were lied to. And the funny thing about it is that it's kind of almost like a boast, because they're also saying that in the tweet, he says, in future, when we do this again, so they're saying they're going to do this again, take Kickstarters that were meant for Steam sales, that were meant just for Steam. The bit said, when we do this again, because we're going to do it, we'll reimburse you if you don't want it. So it's kind of like they're saying, sorry, not sorry. They're like, we're going to do this again. So they obviously have no problem with what they're doing. But they're saying, we're such a juggernaut, we're going to refund you. So they are going to take Kickstarters that were meant for Steam and were backed primarily because they were now they were set up as Steam games, and you're going to get Steam codes. They're going to take them again because they're setting a precedent for it now.
So let's just paint a picture. For me, like looking at this seems like, and this is probably a really obvious way of looking at it, but this seems like something that's meant to be coming out on Xbox and then comes out on PlayStation. Like, not, I suppose, that extreme because it's two different systems, but that's basically what's happening here, isn't it? Like, you think it's coming to Steam, you purchase it on Steam, and the next minute it drops over and it's on the Epic Store.
But not only that, and yeah, that's a comparison. But not only that, you put money towards it so that this game could be made, so it could be on Xbox.
Yeah.
And then they say, actually, no, PlayStation are giving us an F ton of money.
It's filthy, isn't it?
So we're going over to PlayStation now. That's basically what it comes down to. Epic went this, and they went, yeah.
So, because, like, I haven't really looked into a lot of the details, but say if I kickstarted it for the Steam release, so that gets me, that basically pre-orders me for a Steam release, doesn't it?
Yeah, like if that's a part of one of the tiers, if it's a Kickstarter, they'll have tiers, and usually like a $5.
So then, when it's moved over to Epic, is that pre-order just transferred to the Epic Store?
Yeah, you see, I think that is the case. But what people don't like is the fact that they now have to use the Epic Store, because people have reasons for not liking the Epic Store.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. Yeah. It's people are going to be loyal to a company or a platform that's been around forever, like, and seeing it go from being this broken mess to what it is now.
Then people are like, from what I know, from what I understand, they are going to get like the Epic key code or whatever it is, whatever the equivalent is. It's just that people don't like Epic, and it's because of their practices such as this one, and also the fact that they don't have as many features as Steam do, like mods and stuff like that. People they don't see it as an inferior platform that they're almost being forced to use because of the absolute sheer velocity of money Epic is throwing at people to get exclusives to their platform, and people just see it as just that. It's
so
just
I suppose like
gluttonous.
Yeah, to look at who's to blame here, I suppose you have to look at the developer as well, that they'll allow, their game to be released on Steam originally, and the next minute they switch over because all this money is thrown, with the risk of them upsetting an awful lot of people. I think Ubisoft have done it in recent times where stuff was released exclusively on the Epic Store. I remember Metro Exodus was another one that got a lot of backlash. Was even the Ubisoft one was the Division 2, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Don't know now.
I could be wrong, but it seems to be happening an awful lot, and I think what they need to really do here is sort out a system where it either gets released on one or the other. You can't be switching mid process where people have put money towards this. I don't know. I can see the backlash, and I really can understand people not wanting to download the Epic Store. Personally, I don't think it's too bad. I think it's very basic. There's about 20 games on it. Like, it's nothing that's going to do too much, and they're trying to build that thing to be a massive library like Steam, but doing it this way, I think you're upsetting an awful lot of people. I think if they were to get these games exclusive before the whole deal with Steam and then the switch over, I think it would be an easier process for them to get where they need to be. At the moment, I think they're making a lot of bad moves, but that's just my opinion. Anyone else want to jump in there, Jack?
You've all pretty much said what I would have said anyway. You can see where like the backlash is coming from the Epic Store and everything, like the Kickstarters and everything. There's nothing I can add in.
Actually, just on one thing I actually want to mention there is I think it wouldn't be as bad backlash if they just didn't come out of nowhere with this news.
Yeah.
Like every single time something has been announced for to become an Epic Store exclusive, it just came out of nowhere. No one
PC
knew this
Gamer
was gonna
announces
happen.
it or something. Like you never hear it from them.
But like it's, I think they need to start like, okay, this game might be going to Epic Store because it gives us so much more to work with. Like looking at Shenmue 3, they are including so much more into the game now than what they originally could have if they hadn't have gone with Epic Store. So like,
Yeah.
if this had been
hope so.
yeah. But I feel like they need to start like, if they're going to start doing this with Kickstarters, the Kickstarters need to say, listen, there's a chance we could be going to Epic Store exclusive. It needs to be out there before it's just like,
They won't get
yeah,
any
by
money
the
then.
way, we're going to be on a different platform now.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit ridiculous, but we'll leave it at that, guys. We'll go on to the next piece of news. Anyone play Apex Legends anymore? No?
I really don't. I played it when it came out. That's the best I can do for you.
So we have the trailer here for Apex Legends Season 2 that we're going to drop. And it just goes over a few bits. So we were getting a new character. The character's name is... Remind me?
Watson, yeah.
I will say something that I do like the amount of customization they're bringing into the game. They seem to be adding some great looking weapons, like really, really cool stylized weapons, which I think is what was needed. And that game just seems to be continuing to be played by every second streamer that I see. So, I mean, the popularity of that thing is absolutely ridiculous. And I always liked that game. In terms of, I don't play it anymore, but I absolutely adore the developer. The developer Respawn are just a fantastic developer. They're going to be developing they are developing the new Star Wars game, Jedi Fallen Order, which I am super excited for. And I always like to support those guys. They were unbelievable in their marketing for Apex Legends. That stealth drop was something that I've never seen before, really, in the gaming industry. I'm hoping that we're going to get a Half-Life 3 stealth drop like Apex Legends, but I can wish for forever for that one. We might not see it. So hopefully people continue to enjoy Apex Legends as it goes into their second season. They're not stopping anyway, and the best of luck with Respawn, and hopefully they don't spend all their valuable time over at Apex and put some valuable time into the new Star Wars game, Fallen Order, because that's one that I'll be keeping an eye on. So let's go to more Backlash news, guys. This one's an interesting one. So this week, PlayStation have made a change to previously announced PSN games for July. In a strange move, they dropped Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 for Detroit Become Human. Sony have not given any reason for why they made this move, but we can all guess why. I'll be honest with you, I was one of the few that would have downloaded Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 because I am a huge FIFA fan, as you all know. But the one thing I love about the Pro Evolution series is the international game. The online World Cup mode in that is really good. It's done like a World Cup. You have a group stage, then you go on to the next round, and then on to the semis, and then the final, and it's done really well. And I was going to get a bit of game time out of that over the summer when there's not much going, and in between that gap where I'm not really playing FIFA now, so that would have taken over my little bit of football time. Detroit Become Human is, for all intents and purposes, a really decent game. I said it to the guys, it's perfect for someone like me, a sci-fi nerd that is really into androids and AI and stuff like that. Has anyone played Detroit Become Human?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Give us your thoughts on it.
I really liked it. I know he's a controversial in some degree, but I like most of David Cage's games. They're usually like, people will call them like games you watch rather than play, which is a fair assessment. You do have to do every so often press right and press left. One of the hilarious things you have to do in Detroit at one stage is that it's like clean your dishes, and then you have to walk up to the sink and actually spend about 5 minutes doing buttons to clean your dishes. That kind of stuff. David Cage, he's a bit of a weird, but his games, I think, I haven't played Beyond Two Souls. It's the only one I haven't played, and I hear that one's not great. And I know some people do like it. I've never played it. I started off when I was young. I played Fahrenheit back when it came out when
Phenomenal
it was new.
Game.
Fantastic game.
Yeah.
And then I went straight into Heavy Rain on the PS3. Which I adored. I loved Heavy Rain, and I think like I played that when I was living in Cork, and I was living with a few lads, and we actually cleared it about 5 times because of all the different endings you can get. And
Jason,
Jason,
and you know, like the more he calls you, that dread is just oh no.
Yeah, it's a great game, and no spoilers here, but the twist I actually didn't see coming. But anyway, that's where I'm leaving that one.
Perfect. So
Detroit,
what's your opinion? Let's go back to the Backlash. What's your opinion on Sony changing these games around?
It sets a weird precedent. I don't know, like it's probably what we'll be getting into later about gamers. But can they change? But it's like. How big of a backlash was this? I didn't know it was as big as it was, because I was like you, Ronan. I was like, I could see why people would be slightly upset, but like I'd be in the mindset of like wait till next month, see what you get. Because as you said, the month before was actually a pretty good month for the PlayStation Now, or not PlayStation Now, but the PlayStation Plus games.
Yeah.
So and there is a lot of pro fans, and even I saw there was a thread on the Republic of Players there. Where it started off, the first few people were like, "Thank God, thank God, thank God." But as it got lower, there were people like, "I'm actually looking forward. I was looking forward to Pro. Yeah, this is really weird." It's such out of left field, and I was kind of like, I could feel both of the arguments. It was like, if you're saying you're going to do something, to change it so last minute is kind of bizarre to me.
Or even just add the bloody thing to it. Like, why did I have to take it away?
Why not just add the game? It's like I could see.
It.
No, you're only getting 2.
Everybody's happy. Now they have more backlash because people.
But then they'll expect 3 next month, and we don't want to do that.
It's a ridiculous setup, but I don't know. I was looking forward to it. I think Pat, you mentioned that you're not a big fan of these walking simulators, and I'm kind of with you. I played Fahrenheit and I loved it, but that was one of the first interactive experiences that I had. The Walking Dead games, I played season 1, but I couldn't just do it for the rest of the seasons. Any of the Telltale stuff, I find myself getting bored and I always prefer to be sitting back and watching a movie, or really being engrossed and playing a video game, like actually having gameplay. And there's just something about these interactive movies that doesn't grab me. So what's your opinion on the change and the games that they're bringing?
Well, the games that they're bringing, which is like it's the deluxe version of Detroit Become Human, so you get Heavy Rain and Beyond. Well,
yes, that's a good shout. Actually, I've seen that.
Just, I can't play these games. They're awful. Like I've played Telltale's.
That's a little bit heavy, but okay.
Telltale's Game of Thrones. It's
very boring. It's very boring.
Yeah. It's horrifically bad. I played the first few hours of Heavy Rain, and I will never get those hours back ever again. Until Dawn, which I played originally with a few friends, and it was good crack then.
Yeah.
Because, like, you always want to do the really bad ending, but then when you're by yourself, it becomes a horrible game. It does all these games, like, I think you can have fun with them if you're messing about with a few mates. I think that's the best you'll ever get out of them, from my perspective.
Yeah, sitting there, I do agree. Like if you're sitting there with the missus and you get her to kind of make decisions and you can play it that way, definitely it's very good in terms of that. But I'm with you.
But yeah,
I'm with you, dude.
On my own, like it's like it would make me question, why am I gaming?
Yeah.
And that's a very big question that I never usually ask myself.
Did you enjoy Bandersnatch, the Black Mirror episode?
Didn't go near it.
Okay, don't.
But on to the actual backlash off the subject.
Yeah.
I have not been a fan of PlayStation Plus since they dropped all the games, like, just down to 2. It has become a disaster in my opinion. Like, last month was really good. We got 2 really good games.
Yeah.
But before that, like, there wasn't much coming in every month. There was, like, okay. But, like, it's just become a bit of a joke, in all honesty. Like, you're paying more, we're getting less games, and it's just basically now for online that you'd really want it. And
I can agree
like,
with
I
that.
would have preferred Pro Evolution, and I'm not a big fan of football games. Like, I would have preferred it because it actually has gameplay mechanics to it that are actually, you can
Because
enjoy.
of your sheer hatred of David Cage.
But yeah, like, I don't like. Can't wait till the PS5 comes out and then we get 4 games, because that's just going to be nice. I like.
What
a
if
bit
you
more
get 2
choice.
with 2 of them being upgradable?
Then I am going to hang myself.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I can't. At the moment, PlayStation Plus has become super unappealing for me because it's just getting worse rather than better. Like, as I said, like, why not add in an extra game every month? Like, you're not going to be missing out too much.
Yeah, I
like,
think
if
I
they
think,
can
I think
make
if
a
they just
change like
added
that
the
so quickly.
if they added Detroit, I think like, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to check that thing out just for the simple fact that I'm not into those games, but I do like the subject matter of that game. Over, I suppose, since Fahrenheit, because Fahrenheit had that kind of science fiction, the real awesome abilities, and it was something new and fresh at the time.
Yeah.
But ever since that, like, Heavy Rain affected me because I'm a father, and it was just a really dark story. I didn't play any of them since that, and this one, I looked at videos of it. I looked at gameplay. I looked at somebody experiencing that game, and I like the subject matter. So, I mean, look, I'm not going to complain too much. I have never really been too pushed about what games come out. I think, like you said, Pat, last month was a really good month for it, but I always find that I would always prefer obtuse games to come out on that, because chances are I own them if they're not obtuse. If they're AAA games, like, chances are I've owned them. What I do like to see sometimes, every so often, they'll release a game that has a dead online servers, and what it can do is it can really boost the online of, I don't know, I could be wrong now, but I'm nearly certain they released, like, Bloodborne, was it, for free?
Oh yeah, a while ago, yeah.
And that gives that game life, do you know what I mean? Like, even though I had it, I find that I want to jump back in because new people are experiencing that game and you want to go and help them out, and I think games like that are cool to drop for free. But I can agree with you, it has gone a little bit ridiculous. Jack, what do you make of this?
Honestly, the whole Backlash is ridiculous as well. But the thing is, you're all saying, why didn't they add it in? What I don't understand, why didn't they make it an option? Why didn't they say, listen, if you don't want PES, you can get Beyond, or you can get Detroit Become Human. If you don't want that, you can get PES. They could have done that. I know it would have taken work, but it would have avoided a lot of the backlash, because the people who don't want Detroit can then get PES, and whoever didn't want PES can actually get Detroit then. So you would have kind of made both fields happy. And I also agree, the 2 games a month is getting a bit ridiculous now, because things like this are going to happen more and more often, because there has been a lot of backlash this year alone with the fact that they're only released 2 games, and a lot of this year haven't been great. Fair enough, last month was great, but the month before that we got Overcooked and What Remains of Edith Finch. Like, I know they're both good games to a lot of people, and a lot of people at the same time, a lot of people aren't paying PS Plus for those games.
Let's just hope next month is a big one. 2 AAA monsters, God of War and Bloodborne again.
I honestly wouldn't mind seeing 2 good indie games, something like Shovel Knight, Hollow Knight.
Yes.
Again, Binding of Isaac again. Something like that would be nice, because a lot of them actually still have a lot of replayability, and they'd be good for PS Plus.
Game Pass for life.
Game Pass, actually, I want to bring that up really quickly. So I have been on the Microsoft Store, and I can get Game Pass for $1.99. What's that about? Like, literally, if I pay $1.99, I have all those Game Pass for PC.
Do you have an Xbox Live account anyway?
Yes.
Do you have games that go, or do you have?
I think
Xbox
I do.
Live
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, that $1.99 is to upgrade your already existing contract with that, or membership, and then however long you have left on.
Lads, it's ridiculous the amount of games that you get.
It's cool.
How long have you got? However long you have left on your membership, it will be upgraded to Ultimate until the end of that membership.
Okay, nice.
For the €2.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out because I was looking at the games. I was like, wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, what? How many games are you gonna give us? Like that is a service and a half. Yeah, here we are shouting out Xbox for a change.
I love Xbox.
What have you done to us, John?
Cuphead is still one of the best Xbox games.
Cuphead
Yeah,
is
fantastic.
fantastic. I played on PC. Unbelievable game.
I also played it on the PC.
I'm doing it on the Xbox then.
So we're just going to get a word from our sponsors, guys. We'll be back in just a jiffy. Hey guys, the Alpha Fox here, and I just want to bring you a quick message from our sponsor. Our mission at Kaiju Gaming Lounge is to bring the social aspect back to video games in Cork City. There is a tendency with online video games for people to spend a lot of time alone while playing games with their friends over the internet, which may become isolating at times. We want to offer an alternative to spending time alone or in a pub and instead engage in some friendly competition with existing friends or meet new ones in the process. Kaiju Gaming Lounge is the #1 sponsor for TROP-CAST, the #1 gaming podcast in Ireland, and the official podcast of the Republic of Players. And our last bit of news is an EA publisher has come out this week and said, 25 years at EA and I still struggle with the external perception that we're just a bunch of bad guys, Bilby said. We love making and playing games. Unfortunately, when we make a mistake on games, the world knows about it because it's of a size and scale. With such controversy mistakes like when EA Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out in 2017, the way it had loot boxes and microtransactions, which were then removed before the game's public release, which in turn kicked off a global examination of loot boxes in the video games that continues today. Can EA ever be seen in a good light? Now, I have got an opinion on this, guys, but I'm going to do the rounds here first. Jack, I want to let you have the floor with this one first.
Honestly, I get where he's coming from. They do make games, and they did make fantastic games upwards of maybe 10, 11 years ago. But the whole aspect of the new loot box systems, any microtransactions in the game, any company that does that in their games typically gets torn apart. So you can see where the consumer's coming from, but I can understand where because EA get the worst of it. I know they're the worst culprits of it a lot of the time, but they do get the worst of the brunt of it, even though they're not the only company doing it. For example, look at NetherRealm with Mortal Kombat. People went ballistic because of the microtransactions and that, but you don't see them getting torn to shreds like EA typically do. Same with when they made Injustice 2. There was so much locked behind the loot boxes system. Like there was trophies for Platinum Hunters locked behind them. There was costumes, there was moves, there was everything locked behind them. But again, you didn't see that company get torn apart as half as much as what EA have over it. So I can understand where he's coming from by saying it. Yeah, we've made mistakes, but we're not the bad guys. There is other companies doing it.
3 words. Star Wars fans.
Pretty much, but you know what I mean.
No, totally, dude. That's a great point. Pat, what is your opinion on EA being the bad guys, and can they ever be seen in a good light?
First off the bat, I'm going to say yes, they can be seen in a good light. They have, like, back in the day, they were a brilliant company that made some of the best games out there. And, like, even today now with the EA Origins, which I think is one of the best things they're doing at the moment with games like Sea of Solitude, which is coming out tomorrow, and I'm so super excited for. Like,
nice.
That might not have happened without EA Origins, and, like, I can't wait to get into that. But one of the things I hated about this little interview that he gave was that he said mistakes. Now, I think mistakes is like you have a glitch in a game and, you know, you fix it later on. You didn't know it was there. They're purposely putting in these loot boxes, so you can't exactly call them mistakes. And, like, if he's been working with them for 25 years and he doesn't realize that they're perceived as bad guys, like, how out of touch is he with the gaming community? Like, this is, like, everybody, not many people are fans of loot boxes. A lot of people are against them. And like if you're saying, oh, the surprise mechanics, yeah, they're good. No, you're not going to get away with that. Like it's seen as scummy now in the gaming, and the way that they're pushing it forward with surprise mechanics, or it's like a Kinder Surprise, or it's like your baseball cards. They're just digging themselves a bigger grave, and like even the evidence for like the gambling that has been brought forward for loot box, when they were at the UK, they basically said we disagree with that, but we have nothing to like counteract it. You're not painting a pretty picture here for yourselves. Like you're really, like as I said, they're just digging a hole, and they really need to step up their game if they don't want to dig themselves even deeper.
Fair point, Pat. John?
Going against EA, for me, just for me a few years ago, it would seem slightly critical, to be honest, because I was one of the biggest users in FIFA of the golden packs. I used to be slightly addicted to it. I even at one stage, I think they must have taken out, it was a few years ago, they probably thought better of it. I opened up a gold pack and an achievement popped for you have now opened up 50 gold packs, and I never felt so low in my life. I was like, oh, I've spent that much money, huh? It's a good team though. But no, like I can see, yeah, I don't think EA. I think the perfect point made there was by Pat that I can't see it being called a mistake. Like exactly, it wasn't like whoops, I did this by accident. Now there's loot boxes in the game. Like it's kind of language. It's kind of like corporate speak for please forgive us. It's just they knew, like obviously they knew what they were doing and have been doing for years in FIFA, and only started getting, because this, Rodan, as you know, and I don't, Jack and Pat, I don't know how much of FIFA you played. How long has that been going on in FIFA before it start getting a big hot issue like an Ultimate Team?
8
Do you know what I mean?
9.
Yeah,
9 years.
It's been going on, and it was only because they started trying to use that mindset in Star Wars Battlefront 2 that it really got to the mainstream, because here were not just football nerds or like football gamers, but actual proper gamers and Star Wars fanatics that are
real nerds.
Exactly. I didn't want to say it. I said nerds and I felt bad. Like,
I'm a nerd, as I'm the biggest nerd you'll ever meet, so I don't care. Like,
but like such as you said, it's like 3 words, Star Wars people. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's just when they got exposed to it, they were like, "This is stupid. This is not right, and this is borderline unethical." Whereas the FIFA people were like, "Maybe it is actually. Yeah, I don't know. We've been used to this for years." But it's definitely morally wrong what they're doing. Not morally. It's shady. It's shady what they're doing. But they know it's shady, and they're trying to backtrack on it a little bit. But I don't think they will. I think they're going to stay doing stuff, and I think not much is going to change on their side.
No.
Because they're going to make money from it. And at the end of the day, what's a bit of bad reputation compared to the amount of money they rake in from the people that use these features? I think at the end of the day, it's just down to money. So I don't think they're going to really change at all. And I think they've definitely warranted the name they people associate with them, I think.
So yeah, I think you have a kind of on the point there at the end, is it is a business. Do you know what I mean? Like people, they expect EA to be this I don't know, hero in the dark that comes and saves them and makes sure they're okay and cuddles them at night. Like that's not the way the gaming industry works. It's a vicious industry, and anyone that works in it will tell you that there's people being let go, there's people being taken on, and it's so unstable. The fact that games are developed for such a length of time and then they drop off and people are let go, and they, like, EA are an exception where they have these, like, the amount of IPs that they have to create every year, and they will continue to create them. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm on the opposite end here. I have loved EA forever, like ever since I had a Sega, like the games that they brought out, FIFA being what it is, going from, I can't even remember the first FIFA game I have. EA are the games that I played the most, and I honestly think that, and I know that the gaming industry would not be what it is today without EA. Even in this country, EA hires around 250 people in this country alone, gives people, a really, really good living. Does that in all the countries they're situated in. When it boils down to loot boxes, I suppose I'm a little bit more educated than, say, some parents, that people go out and buy little Timmy an Xbox or a PlayStation. Little Timmy asks for the credit card, and next minute there's hundreds of quid spent on loot boxes. And parents tend to blame the company for that, rather than say, okay, look, I shouldn't have give Timmy the credit card. Like, he can go on any online store and buy anything he wants with that credit card. So you have to take it a little bit more serious when in terms of what people can buy online. I know my son, when he gets a little bit older, I'll have to teach him, money is a very kind of hard thing to come by, and you need to look after it. And treat them with, maybe, if he does get into Ultimate Team, treat him with a couple of quid every week that he can go and get. Like, I don't even feel bad saying this. Treat him with a few packs. I mean, we have gone into stores in my childhood. I have bought the amount of Pogs I have bought, the amount of Premier League cards that I have bought. Like, that is the exact same as what these are doing. And if people turn around and say, well, one is physical and one is digital, I mean, the physical and digital world are very intertwined. One is taken over the other, if anything. And when I was younger, I had Premier League books that I used to go in. Every little bit of pocket change I had, I bought a pack. You look in the pack, you have duplicates. It's the exact same as on FIFA. It's the same buzz that I get when I get packs on FIFA Ultimate Team. The whole hearing, Pat, that you brought up about EA saying their surprise mechanics, those guys were sent in knowing that they were going to play dumb. Like, let's be honest here, EA are not stupid. They have every single bit of information that anyone buys. Like, I know for a fact that they can tell me exactly how much I spent on Ultimate Team. Me alone. If I rang EA, they could tell me in a couple of minutes. They were sent in to play dumb. They do not need to bring out any of that information whatsoever until it goes to a high court, and then the information will need to be brought forward. They're not going to explain their situation in a hearing where they don't need to. I've got a couple of friends that work in EA. They love it. They say nothing but good things. They're treated right. I mean, I work in a company that is up and down. They work, like, the people that work in EA don't have anything bad to say about that company, because they're looked after. They get medical benefits. They get a good retirement. And they're in this country. And what I would love to see more from EA in this country is more of a presence at the conventions. I think that's the one thing that they're really missing out on. But in terms of being able to change with the times, EA have really impressed me with what they have done with Battlefront 2. If anyone goes and plays that game now, the amount of content in that game, you can go out and buy that game for, I think I've seen it for £5, and it's 100 gig download off the bat. They've had a new update last week, and it added like 15 gig of content, new maps, new characters, and people still bring that one up as their bad ship. So I think you kind of have to look and give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. Apex was one of the greatest launches of all time, and there's loot boxes in that, but it's not thrown in your face, and people don't give out about that. They unlock stuff progressively through the game. Respawn, I mean, they're publishing for these developers like Respawn, and they're creating a gaming industry that I enjoy. They're creating games that I enjoy. I can't wait to see Fallen Order and see what's going to be coming out of that. Like you said as well, Pat, about Sea of Solitude, that's another game, those indie style games that they're bringing to the table as well. So with all the good stuff that they're bringing, the loot boxes are really just a little snippet that people like to pick and talk negative about. But I think what they do for the gaming industry as a whole outbeats every other company out there, and that's just my opinion on EA. So I suppose I'm a little bit on the opposite side of the fence. I'll probably get a lot of hate, but look, I don't care. I play FIFA more than any game ever in my life, so I gotta have to back it up. Like,
as I said, I'm slightly hypocritical in my stance. I do buy, but I don't buy as many gold packs as I used to back in the day.
You've learnt your lesson.
Learned my lesson.
Lads, I think we all know what will save EA, and that is a Need for Speed Underground 2
Yes. We're going to see that soon. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully. I want to hear Riders on the Storm again, in-game.
And I hear the proper Riders of the Storm, not Snoop Dogg.
No.
Yeah.
The one in-game.
No. Snoop
It's not
Dogg's
as-
version of that is awful.
It's not as nostalgic with the original. The original version is better, yes, but just for the nostalgia. is what I'm saying.
So guys, we're going to just go straight on to the topic of the week. Now, we've covered an awful lot of this throughout the show, hence the name Backlash. But my question to you guys is, do fans control the gaming industry? And do developers listen to the fans? John, I'm going to throw it to you first.
It's kind of, as you said, we've kind of touched a few things we've been talking about. Like, I think they can, as we've seen, things can be changed. Enough people like something, and it's in the company's best interest to change it, or else they'll lose that base. I think they will change it if they have the power to do it. But I think at the end of the day, I think if I'm a bit of a cynic. I think if a company can get away with something, they will, because it's money at the end of the day. So there's like slighter controversies that will maybe die down more than others that they'll slide under the rug. But there's also like things like the controversy, the Cyberpunk 2077 controversy, where there's a bit of a thing as well that sometimes people can be outraged for things that they really shouldn't be outraged for, and they'll get so into it, and when it's an opinion-based thing rather than something that's actually morally wrong or something that's actually wrong with the game. It's a slippery slope as well. If I'm talking about, by the way, the Cyberpunk thing was the poster of the transgender woman that had Mix It Up written on it. And the whole reason why, and the developer came out, and there was massive. Massive is a big word, but like there was a big group of people that were saying that it was transphobic, and the developer was saying it's not really at all. Like it's not transphobic, but people get it in their mind that it is. So then they try and start an uproar about this, and they want this thing taken out of the game. Now, I do believe some people start uproar for uproar's sake, just because either they're bored. Sometimes it's like a rival company. I think myself, again, I'm a conspiracy theorist, doing like a shadow sort of diss on them, or someone with nefarious actions that want this name of this game or whatever brought down. But it's like, especially that one, because the developer came out, and I actually loved him, came out and said, like, there's things in this game as well that are like, you're going to look at it and you go, oh my God, that guy in this game is a racist, or oh, that guy in this game is something else. But he's the bad guy, and it's showing you that these things exist. Just because the thing of like this exists in the game doesn't mean that you're saying this thing is good. This thing is you should be go home now and do these things. It's more like these kind of people exist, and for this game to feel real, and like you're supposed to look at this guy and go, oh, what an a-hole. You're not supposed to like sympathize with him. I don't know, it's weird. I think people can change, but I do think sometimes there's a lot of backlash and people look for change in things that don't really need to be changed. And it's, yeah, I've probably gone slightly off topic with that one.
No, you're
like,
not. That's a great point, John, to be honest. Yeah, it's a great point.
It's just weird to me. But I do think like the things like what Belgium did, banning the loot crates and all that, like there's pros and cons to that as well. Like people will be saying, obviously, you know, there was such an uproar about it. Like, it is gambling, and maybe it shouldn't be allowed for kids, blah, blah, blah. But the other side is like, maybe you could have just age restricted it, or maybe not at all. And you were talking about it a few weeks ago that maybe it's not a good idea to age restrict loot boxes and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I am slightly rambling a bit, but I do think it can be a good thing. But I think sometimes people can ask for change that that doesn't really need to be made. It's just a certain group that don't like something in a game that isn't necessarily bad.
I think it's come up a few times tonight where we talk about backlash, and I find a lot of the times when it's negative, most of the time it's a minority group, but negativity speaks a lot louder than positivity. I think it's just something ingrained in a human being that we kind of nearly are attracted to negativity more than positivity. I was very negative in the past. I used to just pick and moan about everything, and I said one day, look, we are so bloody privileged in this day and age that I'm going to try and just be positive and see stuff in a positive light. And I find myself a lot happier doing that. You know what I mean? I don't feel bitter. I don't feel negative. I feel like I'm trying to pick the positive pieces out of something. And that's the way I try and live my life. And that's why I suppose I talk good about EA, is because I try and look at the other side of it, what good they're doing. Pat, what do you make of this question? Can fans control, or do fans control the gaming industry?
I think there's a bit of give or take on either side. Like, going back to the PlayStation Plus sort of thing, when it started to become just 2 games, you could see the dissatisfaction grow as the months went on. So, like, not many people were very happy with most monthly games. Like, apart from last month, like, loads of people were happy with that. But I think it just got to the point where, like, the company was pushing too much for what they were asking for. Like, because they built up the price, they got rid of more of the games, and then so on and so forth. And then the fans wanted more stuff. And when a game like PES 2018, with its newer game only, like, 2-3 months down the road?
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Around September,
like,
October, yeah.
I think people were just like, why give us this sort of game when it's the new ones is going to be down the road? Like, it's a bit late given this game now. And it's a bit of a tricky subject overall, but I think the companies they do need to look on their business side. But at the same time, they need to have a certain amount of respect for the players that play their games.
Yeah.
And that's it. There has to just be a nice balance between that. And if you get that balance, like CD Projekt Red, I think is the perfect version of the balance.
I was literally thinking the same thing, dude.
Or even like recently Insomniac Games, how they've been giving out free costumes for Spider-Man. That nice sort of balance there. Like, they have had costumes that you had to pay for, but there's been a good few that have come out free as well. And you're paying your respect to your fans that have went out and bought this game. And like, I think that's the sort of thing most companies need to go for. They need to have just that in-between spot.
Yeah, definitely. Jack?
I have to agree. The Backlash thing is getting a bit ridiculous now, because as there has been so many games lately that have actually gotten Backlash and actually had things change. For example, I'll just go to Crash Team Racing for the main example. There was a lot of backlash when it first got revealed that, they were going to have the Nitro car and the Team Racing characters in it, but they weren't going to have the trophy girls from the original. For those who don't know, the trophy girls were just girls standing there with umbrellas and starting the finish of every race. There was so many people unhappy with the fact that they weren't added, that Beanox actually came out afterwards and said, we're adding the trophy girls as racers for you to unlock. And that, again, that was them listening to the people, listening to everybody and going, they actually want this. But on the other side of the spectrum, you've got a lot of people going a bit too hard, and the main example, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. So many people are giving just Game Freak such a hard time for something that they decided not to. They decided not to have a national day, and a lot of people have gone out of their way to say, "Oh, look, it's this easy to make these models. Oh, look, it's this easy to put these models into this. It's this easy to do that. It's this easy to do this." But then you've, like, that's fair enough. They can do what they want. But then you've also got the other end of the spectrum of people just saying, oh, yeah, this person needs to retire. This person needs to do this. This person can't be working on this anymore because he's ruining the game. So, there, again, as Pat said, there is a bit of give and take. Yeah, developers can listen, but if they listen too much and give too much, it will come back and bite them in the ass, because people will expect more and more and more and start pushing more and more and more. So... it's hard to tell. Again, the PS Plus one is a big one, because what's going to stop people from going down next couple months? There being another crap game, as people were putting it, and them another uproar about this game being on PS Plus, and then them changing it again. People are going to expect it the next time there's more backlash. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm kind of with Pat in terms of, he said that there needs to be balance there. I think it's a really interesting time that gamers have a voice. I do think that, like John said, that sometimes people can just give out to give out. But I do like when there is an honest bit of criticism and the developers take it on board and they turn around and say, okay, we actually looked at it and we agree with this and we're going to change it around. I honestly think the PSN change up is a ridiculous thing to happen, because like Jack said, what's going to stop every single month? And I think I've seen more backlash in the past than the one that we just seen. Like, it was almost a case that people were used to it, and yes, people were giving out, but no different than any other month. From what I could see, I was amazed when I seen that they've changed the games up. I just didn't really understand it, and the fact that they took a game away means that the people that were looking forward to that game are now the ones that are given the backlash. It was a silly move in terms of what they did. But what I do like is, I suppose this is going a little bit away from game and connected a little bit, but I did really like the Sonic design that was in the movie. The fact that they said, okay, look, we looked at the design, we're going to take it away. They tried something creative. It didn't work. People seen it, and didn't really like it, and they're going to bring it away and change it up. And I kind of like that, the fact that gamers are so connected with the developers. You mentioned CD Projekt Red. Now, CD Projekt Red are brilliant in terms of, if you buy the physical copy of their games, there is a love letter to you to say thank you for buying our game. And I love that kind of stuff. I think that shows that the developer really does care, that if they care so much about their gamers, the people playing their game, they definitely care about the game that they're making. And I think that relationship between gamer and developer is getting stronger with social media, with the way everything is just so connected. I mean, Twitter, I don't use it that much anymore, but you can literally go on and tag a lead developer on a game, and the chances are, like, he will see that and maybe get back to you. And I've had lead developers get back to me. The official Windows page got back to me. We're in a really interesting time now where your heroes are at your doorstep and you can really connect with them. And I just want people to use that connection in a positive light and try to give these companies, a hand to develop these games. And a lot of people do. You'll see a lot of early access games now where developers do care what the gamers' experiences. I seen it with Breakpoint, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, where I got into an alpha testing and they literally wrote an email to me giving me a survey of what I didn't like, what I liked, and I went and I filled it out, and at the very end it's like, thank you so much, you have added to the experience that you're going to see in the final product. And I think that we're in such an interesting time in terms of that connection. So I do think that fans control the gaming industry, but not in a fact that, I don't think they control everything, but I think developers need to just know when to listen and know when to ignore. A lot of things were destroyed for me. I mean, in terms of movies, I really liked Prometheus, and that got a minority of backlash, and then it changed the whole series. Ridley Scott said, do you know what, it got too much backlash, we're going back to what it used to be, and ended up ruining that whole trilogy. And I think that if developers take in the good criticism, I think we're going to be leading down a very good path. If they take in the bad criticism, it could end up a very rocky road. Any last words, guys, on that just topic of the week?
The bad criticism, I get what you're saying, and good constructive criticism towards an aspect of a game or mechanic of a game that makes sense and is just like, oh, actually, no, that is good, we should do it. But I do feel like, and I already touched on this, that, like, as you said, the vocal minority that will get upset about an aspect of a game that is just about their personal beliefs. Yeah. And they'll get together and they will do their best. It's just the internet culture. They will do their best to burn that company down until they make the change that they want. And it's stuff like that. And again, what I said, that the whole CG Projekt Red one, where the Cyberpunk 2077, where he actually came out and he said, he basically had a post saying, how dare you tell me how to develop my game? It's actually brilliant. I wish I had it here in front. And he just absolutely goes off them. He goes like, as an African American man, you're telling me that I'm making exclusion and all this in my game. Are you actually having a laugh? Like he's basically just calls them all idiots, and it's the funniest thing. I have so much respect for CG Projekt Red for that comeback. Like
Unbelievable company.
To have the gall in a good way to come back and do that. It's just as you said, the vocal minority will try and twist it, but obviously there is people who have good criticisms about games that developers should listen to. So yeah, as you said, it's a give and take.
So remember I told you about like we're so connected with the gaming industry. Holly Bennett, the CD Projekt marketing lead marketer, I was actually WhatsApping her while she was in E3.
Wow.
Yeah, I was trying to get on to the review to get a review copy of CD Projekt, and I emailed her, and she got back and says, if you need me, WhatsApp me at here, I'm at E3, and I WhatsApped her with the email that I sent, and she got back to me. She just said, at E3 I'll return your email straight when I get back, and she did, like, and we're on a kind of a waiting list for possibly getting CD Projekt Red. So that's a little scoop and kind of a proof that we're so connected with the developers in this day and age.
Yeah.
So shout out to Holly, thanks a million for that.
I was wondering what she was doing nowadays. I used to watch PlayStation actually, and I heard she left that. So
yeah, she's working with CD Projekt as the lead marketing guru over there.
Pretty sweet,
so guys, if we have nothing else on that topic, let's I don't think we have any community questions. Sometimes fans have too much. David Ayers is in there. No community questions. So what we'll do is we'll do our shout outs.
Sorry, Ronan, very quickly. Mercy put a question a while ago when we were talking about Epic. Well, not really a question, just a statement, I thought.
Okay.
He said, don't Epic give devs more percentage on the sale of their game? They do, and that might be one of the ways that they're enticing people over.
Yeah.
I just still think it's slightly not great, the way that they're kind of bringing people over, especially like Kickstarters and stuff like that have already been said where they're going, and then the last minute to kind of coax them over and tell them to come over here. But I get what you're saying. It's not They might not necessarily always be buying people, which I said earlier, that some people are going to the Epic store because they're getting better percentages than Steam, and that is a fair point. I just said I saw it.
So the way I would think of that, John, is if you have two shops on a street, and you've one shop and it's selling burger and chips, and then another shop comes on and it's selling burger and chips, you're obviously going to undercut the guy that's been there a while. Yeah, if you come in as a new person, you want to undercut, you want to get as many developers on board, and then you pump it up to to the level price. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. Yes, they do give developers more, but they remember they're in the game 6 months. Steam are there since forever, so they're trying to entice people with obviously the incentive of getting more money. So, but great pointer.
Yeah.
So guys, we'll do our shout outs and let's get out of here. John, where can the good folks find you?
The good folks can find me on Twitch and YouTube. I am Too Old for Gaming, TOOOLD, the number 4 and then gaming, all one word. And I'm the same on both of them. Come and check me out. I stream like Mondays, Tuesdays and Fridays, and I have videos up every day. I have a daily Tarkov series if you're interested.
Awesome.
I'm also playing Papers, Please and Getting Over It. And we have a little chat on a Sunday that I call Let's Chat. And that's pretty much what I do. So yeah, that's me.
Deadly, John. Cheers. Pat?
Well, you can find me over at Twitter as Pat Gone Mad with a capital R at the end. And you will also find my videos on the Republic of Players YouTube channel. And at the weekend, we will be having the Child of Light review be put up. So
awesome.
Look forward to that.
Nice. And Jack?
You can all find me at the Platinum Jack on Twitch. Routine's a bit all over the place at the moment, trying to get that sorted out. So
you're getting there. Looking forward to seeing you do some platinum runs on stream.
We'll start off with some speed runs first.
Oh, speed runs, is that what you're going with first? Nice. Looking forward to seeing those. So yeah, you can catch me on the community, the Republic of Players community. Also head over to my gaming page, the Alpha Fox. I stream, my schedule is a little bit all over the place being a family man, but I'm usually on 8 o'clock to about 12, about 2 or 3 nights a week, sometimes more. So head over there, I put up content, I put up news, and make sure to go over to Spotify and download this podcast. Also, if you are on the YouTube there, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This has been the Republic of Gaming podcast, episode 36. We named it Backlash, and I think for good reason.
Backlash.
Thank you to John, Pat, and Jack. I have been your host, Ronan Fox, and we are out.